All right, I'd like to welcome you here today and thank you for your time. I always see time as a gift, and I am grateful for your gift of time today to watch this presentation about some information about our upcoming bond on May 3rd. The first piece I'd like to tell you about is a little bit about our BHAG, which is our Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. So the Greenville Public Schools established this Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal about the year 2017. And it was a group of people that came together to say, where do we want to see Greenville Public Schools in the future? So that states to us that Greenville Public Schools will be known as an educationally progressive leader by ensuring rigorous, individualized academic achievement for all students through community partnerships, globally diverse cultural and career opportunities, in a safe and caring environment. And really to drive this bond, there is one sentence in that BHAG that really helped me realize that we needed to continue to move forward with great opportunities for our kids. And that's the sentence that says, educationally progressive leader. We want to continue to be a leader in education and continue to challenge ourselves to move forward for great things for kids. So the upcoming bond proposal is a $45 million bond, and it's going to focus on health and safety, improving learning environments, and building and site improvements. We are fortunate to be able to move forward with this bond with a tax rate decrease. It's about a 0.2 tax rate decrease. It's not a large one, but in fact it is one that we are very proud to be able to present to our community. The data I'd like to show you today is really focusing on some early childhood information specific to Montcalm County. So on the chart that you will see at the bottom left-hand corner, it talks about mental health services, specifically for our 0 to 5-year-olds. You'll notice that in the little head that you see, there's 23 students, 0 to 3-year-olds, that are receiving direct services from mental health services. It is a formalized service, so picture yourself with a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old having to go to get formal counseling because of probably abuse or neglect within the home. That's a significant number within our county, and we want to be able to help those families find resources and support through our programming. In addition, you'll see that there's 104 4 to 6-year-olds also receiving that formalized information and resources. We know that those families need help, and we know that our programs and services can help provide an education to those families and help service those students with educational resources. In addition, I want to draw your attention to the top left corner. So this is a graph that shows the number of students that are being categorized as having lead within their blood system. Now we know that lead comes from pipe or paint within a home, and we know that it significantly impacts the ability for students to learn. We want to be able to get to those students also, so that the earlier we intervene, the more opportunity they have to be successful. And lastly, over on the right-hand side in the bottom, you're going to see some data that talks about daycare opportunities within Montcalm County. Montcalm County has been pinned as a daycare desert. And so with this, we know that for every opening in daycare within Montcalm County, there are 3 students vying for that opening. As a result, it looks like and shows us that there is a big deficit within our community. Again, Greenville Public Schools wants to help with that opportunity. In addition, this data is showing where we compare to the State Department with at-risk students. So you can see the dark line represents Montcalm County. And in all of those categories, looking at living in investigated households, which means households that have protective services involved, or students who have been confirmed cases of abuse and neglect, or students that are living out of home care, which is homelessness. In all those categories, Montcalm County is above the state average. And in a couple of those categories, we are coming down, which we're really optimistic about with that trend line, but we also know that there's still a significant number of students and families that need support. Knowing that preschool programming and opportunities of school daycare can provide support for families and students, to us makes a lot of sense for us to provide those resources. So the first project for this bond, it's going to be focused on an early childhood center that would be in addition to Walnut Hills, and then an additional daycare area where we can provide daycare for families at an affordable rate. Now right now we have daycare throughout the day, and we have daycare before and after school at every elementary building. I want to make sure that everybody understands that we will keep those before and after school opportunities for all families in each elementary. We know that that's a convenient for parents, and we want to keep that as a convenience for parents. In addition, we also want to expand those opportunities. So we're going to be able to do that with this additional daycare facility in that area. And as we stated before, we are designated as a daycare desert, and we know that adding those opportunities will help in that way. So why are we talking early childhood education? We know that the investment in early childhood makes a significant difference in our students. The research is really clear, and you can see that 2 or more years of quality preschool improves children's literacy and numeracy. And we know that it also makes a difference lifelong when they get to graduation rates. Some additional information is telling us that for every dollar that we invest in early childhood, the return is $7 to $12. That's significant. It is actually the biggest impact that we can make on education across our nation. And so what does that investment look like? Well, it looks like students being more ready for kindergarten. It looks like enabling parents to be able to secure employment because their students are at preschool. It also increases academic achievement, and it decreases behavioral concerns. On the other end, we know that it gives them more of a high rate of chance of graduation, and we know that the economic development that these kids can enhance and add to our community is more significant with those that have had that experience. I want to show you some data that's directly related to Greenville. So when we look at students in Greenville that have had preschool experiences, the data is really clear that those students are a little bit ahead of students that have not had that preschool experience. So the chart in front of you shows in the purple line, those are the students from Greenville Public Schools that actually had a preschool experience and now are in kindergarten. The yellow line represents students in kindergarten that did not have that preschool experience. And you can see by the chart that in all of the areas of academic achievement, the students with preschool have made more progress. In addition, on the right-hand side of that chart, that is data from Montcalm Area ISD and represents all preschool students across the intermediate school district. You can see that that data shows that all of the students in our preschool programs made up past 90% in all academic areas. That's pretty impressive. The second part of this bond is focused on what we call career and technical education, and what we're saying is STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math. This is an area of improvement that we added a lot of enhancements to from our last bond. When we did a survey with our community, we hired a third party so that we could make sure that it was done in a statistical manner. We surveyed over 600 families in our community, and the number one ask from our community was more career and technical education for our kids. So we couldn't agree more. And so we're going to take that support and we're going to say, let's enhance that. Let's not only look at our high school students, but let's look at our middle school students and our lower elementary students. We want to take this opportunity to enhance the education and careers for all students, including our elementary students. So what this looks like is in this bond, we are going to renovate a classroom at every elementary building and turn it into a STEM room. It's a room that will focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It will give our students the opportunity to take those experiences from their hands-on activities and use it towards careers and understand how the connection makes from hands-on to a career in the real world. We're very excited about that. Let me show you a little bit of what we've done so far in the area of career opportunities. What you see in front of you is the work of our career navigator, Amanda Butler. And what she has done is just brought awareness. We know how important it is for kids to know what the options are. We know that as they prepare for a career, many times they don't even know what their choices could be. So our job is just expose them to many, many opportunities that show them there are many choices out there. And so this year alone, you can see that we have had 260 classroom presentations for our students in the area of careers. We have had 274 students be able to participate in an on-site visit. We have had 88 companies partner with us throughout the community. This is an amazing number for me. It means that these companies and these businesses have reached out and said, we'll take kids to intern. We will take kids and we will mentor them. We will come in and talk to your kids about careers in our businesses, and we would be glad to support you in any kind of educational experience that you have. So 88 companies and businesses within our community is a great rate. The last thing that I want to point out to you is 3,500 students have had what we call an EDP, an Educationally Development Plan. And what that means is that all of those students have met individually with a professional staff member to talk about what are your goals, what do you think your talents are, and what can we do to help you achieve any goals that you have for the future. That helps us plan our classes, and it helps us plan what activities we should make available to all of our students. So what exactly is in the bond? So I want to show you a very detailed list of what you're going to see in the bond. First and foremost, we are going to add air conditioning to our elementary buildings. This is important because we want to continue to provide education throughout the summer. So summer school has been enhanced in the last few years, and I'm so excited to say that you'll see a great offering this summer also. So that enables us to use those as learning environments all year long, and we're excited about that. In addition, that clean air and that air conditioning brings a safety and security piece for us. Clean air has become really important since COVID, and we know that enhancing that system will provide a healthier environment for our kids. In addition, we're going to add that early childhood center onto Walnut Hills. We're going to expand the daycare and the opportunities there. We're going to renovate those elementary classrooms into STEM rooms, or science, technology, engineering, and math. We're going to add 2 CTE classrooms to the middle school and 2 classrooms to the high school. We're going to add an outdoor activity area for the middle school students. So when I met with these middle school students and asked them, what would you like to see, or what classes would you like to take? They said, well, we would like some place to hang out and do things outside. So that's the outdoor learning area. But they also want something called home ec. So I said, home ec, and I said, tell me more. And they said, well, my mom had home ec, and they did cooking, and they did home improvement. And so you know what? We know that those are important pieces, and we're going to add those kinds of classes back at the middle school and high school. We also are going to have a drop-off loop in the front of the high school. This is an accessibility issue for us at Greenville. It's an American Disabilities Act issue, and we want to make accessible our front door at the high school. If you've been there before, you know, in order to get to that front door, you have to park near the gymnasium and walk all the way up the hill to the front door, or you can park in the front and again walk up the hill. We want to make that more accessible for everyone in our community and provide some parking in the front there, closer to the front door, and a wraparound that would be a loop for people to drop people off. So that's a focus for us, and that's a safety and security issue for us. In addition, in the area of safety and security, we're going to fix that problem out at Lincoln Heights where we have cars stacked on Lincoln Lake Road. We know that it's a safety issue. We have talked with MDOT, we have talked with the state police, we have talked with contractors, we have talked with the road commission, and we have asked to have a pull-off lane. Right now, they're not able to do that, and so we know that we have to take care of that problem ourselves. And so we're going to provide a wraparound drop-off area in the back of Lincoln Heights in order to get those cars off of Lincoln Lake Road and provide a safer place for our kids and our parents. In addition to that, we're going to expand our elementary kitchens. Currently, they're about 10 by 12, about 144 square feet. And right now, we are having to store dry foods and canned foods in classrooms because we don't have room in that small space. So we're going to expand those kitchens for storage area. And then we're going to fill up and follow up with some HVAC opportunities at the middle school. We were not able to do that in this last bond. We did that mostly at the high school. Again, knowing that clean air is so important and having that opportunity to use the building all year long, we want to make sure that we can meet that need for our community. In addition, we'll kind of finish up some HVAC in the media center at the high school. We're going to provide a small amount of roofing at the middle school. We are going to do paving on most of our parking lots, and we're going to provide elementary fire alarms in each of the elementary buildings. That will be an upgrade for us. Technology devices and replacement is also on the list. We're kind of reserving that money because this bond won't come to fruition until 2023 or 24. And so we know that technology is going to change very quickly, but we want to be prepared for our students and our staff to be able to move them into the future for the newest technology in learning. Lastly, we're going to be able to resurface the tennis courts. Our tennis courts have a lot of bumps and bruises in them, and it has become a safety issue for our students. And so we're going to be able to resurface them and replace those tennis courts. But also we're going to be able to provide an opportunity for our community. They have been asking about pickleball courts, and so we're going to be able to provide pickleball lines on those courts and enable our community to have access to more pickleball courts in the community. I'd like to show you some information that's available on our website. And the first one is 5 things you should know about the bond. The first piece just talks about that it is a tax rate decrease. And so this is a window of opportunity for us. So I told you earlier that being an educationally progressive leader was really important. It was one of the reasons we wanted to move forward with this. But that tax rate decrease is the other reason we want to do that. I'm going to show you more of that in just a minute. In addition, it talks about the focus of the bond. So that is that career technical education piece, and it is also that early childhood daycare center piece. That piece of paper also shows you that how this will impact students. So I say all of it impacts students. So we are so genuinely excited about the opportunity this will bring for students. So it will touch them in ways through clean air, through safety and security, and it will touch them through programming and services for them. So we're excited about that. And the last piece is just to say, why now? Why is the bond moving forward now? Well, again, that goes back to that tax rate decrease, a window of opportunity for us, and then continuing to be an educational leader within our community. The next piece of information that we have available for you on the website is a financial fact piece of information. There's 2 pieces of information on there that I want to draw your attention to. One is a question about, can you use these bond funds to pay salaries and benefits for our teaching staff? And the answer to that is no. We are not allowed to use any bond money that is given to us through the government to pay for any kind of increases or salary and benefit packages for our staff. Now, we know that there are different opportunities to hire staff for these programs, but those will have to be done through our general fund. In addition, there's a second question in there that talks about, how do we know if you're going to use this money the way you say you're going to use it? That's a really important question, and one that legitimately needs to be answered, because this is the public's money. So the reason, or the answer that I can give you for that, is that we are audited every single year of the bond through the progress. So this is about a 4-year bond, and through that process, 4 times we will be audited by the State Department. They literally come into the school district, look at our books, and say, how did you spend this money, and does it match up to what you said you were going to do? So that accountability piece is important, and we take that very seriously. So overall, just kind of to summarize things, this is a bond for about $45 million. It is a 0.2 tax rate decrease, and it is going to bring us down from a 7.2 millage rate to a 7.0 millage rate. The next piece of information is really important because it shows you how we're going to be able to do that. So currently we are at a 7.2. We're going to lower that tax rate to 7.0. That enables us to save a little bit of money for our community, but still bring in that amount of money to move forward with our goals of that early childhood, career technical education, and making sure we have safe environments for our kids. Now, we're being very transparent about what happens if this bond does not pass. Well, reality is that tax rate will drop even lower. It will drop down to a 4.88 mill rate, and that is a lower rate and would save more money. So we want to be transparent about that. But the issue is that that would not enable us to continue to provide these great programs for our kids. So we want to be transparent, but we also want you to understand what we're able to do with that money. Now, if that was to drop off, how does that compare to other school districts within our area? So I want to show you a chart that shows you that. Currently, at the 7.2, we are about in the middle of the pack for those schools in our area. That's exactly where we want to be. Not looking to be at the top of the game, nor do we want to be near that bottom. But the 7.0 puts us right in the middle. If it were to drop down to 4.88, we know that in the future, if we wanted to raise that back up to bring money in for facilities and enhancements, it would actually go to the community as an increase. And so we're trying to avoid that opportunity for our community. The other piece that I think is really important to know about Greenville Public Schools is we have tried very, very hard to be fiscally responsible, especially with the money that comes from the community. So in the last 9 years, Greenville Public Schools has been able to save our community about $4.3 million. We do that through refinancing. And so as you just refinance your house, a lower interest rate comes in, and then you can save money that way. We have taken advantage of that through our bond debt. So twice in the last 9 years we have refinanced, and the newest one was in 2020. And when we refinanced in 2020, we were able to save the community $2.7 million. Now that's money that the community will not have to pay back, and that will drop off on our payments. So we're pretty proud of that, but we know how important it is when we are managing our community's money. The next piece of information is the actual bond language that you will see on the bond ballot. And so when you go to the polls, either through an absentee ballot on March 19th or at the polls on May 3rd, this is the ballot that you will see. At the top, it talks about how much the bond is for, approximately $45 million. In the middle of that ballot, it talks about the specific things that we will use that money for. And then at the bottom of the ballot, it talks about it being a tax rate net decrease for you. So that information is right in front of you so that you can read it before you head to the polls. The next piece I want you to understand about absentee ballots, because that is a game changer for us. So since the last presidential election, we know that absentee ballots are now available for everyone. You don't have to have a special circumstance in order to obtain them. And so absentee ballots will be available on March 19th. You literally can go to your clerk's office, pick up the ballot, vote right there, and be done with the election. Now, the clerks will be sending out those ballots to different communities and homes, and they will start with, I believe, the military. So it may not come in the mail right away. So if you want to vote right away, you would have to go to the clerk's office. Otherwise, it will come to you in the mail, and you can submit it from there. We know that being able to vote from home is a convenient piece, and we want to make sure that people know that as of March 19th, that will be available for you. If you would rather vote in person, that voting date is May 3rd. The last piece of information that I want to share with you today is some maps that show you exactly what that construction looks like. So the first map that you're going to see on your screen is Walnut Hills, because that's the biggest investment that we're making. It's that early childhood center and daycare. So you can see the addition is there on the north side of the building. It also has its own wraparound pickup area. We want our preschool parents to have the convenience to go into that side of the building. That will be just designated for them. And then you'll also see a little bit of a play area off to the right-hand side. It's really important and actually a requirement that we provide an appropriate play area for those students. The next one that you'll see is Lincoln Heights, and of course that's the safety and security piece for us in getting those cars off of Lincoln Lake Road. We are going to add a queuing area behind Lincoln Heights, and it is around on the back of the playground. So we will circle around the back of the playground in order for those cars to be able to queue in a longer area on our property instead of on Lincoln Lake Road. The next one is Baldwin Heights, and this is similar to Cedar Crest. The only addition there is the addition of the food and nutrition area. So we're going to expand those kitchens, but we're also going to add the air conditioning there, and we're going to renovate the rooms for the STEM classrooms. Next, you will see our high school. Again, a little bit more construction taking place there. We are adding 2 classrooms. We're adding that drop-off area in the front of the building. We're going to be paving the parking lot, and then we'll be providing some new tennis courts and pickleball courts at the back end. Cedar Crest is going to be similar to Baldwin Heights in that the only addition there is the additional kitchen area. Again, they will still have the air conditioning and the renovation of the STEM room. The middle school, that picture shows that there are 2 classrooms being added to the middle school for additional career technical education, and then you're going to see that activity area for our kids. That's all that we have for you today. Again, I'm so grateful for you taking the time to just listen and learn, and we want to invite you to ask questions or inquire about anything that you have an interest in. So you can reach me personally right at my email address. You can also go to our website. There is a button on the website. It's a purple button that says Bond 2022, and if you click on there, you can see a lot of the resources that we talked about today. I'm grateful for your continued support for the Greenville Public Schools and hope you have a great day.